Hello, I'm Hannah and I'm here with Elle Woods. And welcome to another episode of How Very Hannah. It's a special one.
Once upon a time, there was a stagey girl with a big dream. She hoped, dreamed, and prayed to work at Tesco. Wait, someone's written this script wrong. Can we get a redo?
Take 2.
I dreamed a dream that one day I would hit the stage. And so it seems that dream has come true. Whoa, whoa. Oh my God, you guys, it's really happening. My life has been changed for the better, and I'm seizing the day and spinning into the spotlight. How very slay, it's giving queen. How very cringe, get out my scene. It's beginner's call, the stage is set for me. How very Hannah, how very Hannah, how very Hannah. That's the name for my podcast show and your front row. So how very Hannah, hit the lights. How very Hannah, that's too bright. How very Hannah, that was alright. How very Hannah, no key change. Okay, it's my podcast show. Let's go.
Okay, it's happened. Guys, we've opened Legally Blonde and I've debuted as Elle Woods. Yes, round of applause in the studio. Okay, so basically this episode is going to be the full debrief from opening, from Elle debut. It's been a whirlwind. It's been crazy. We've been in Leicester for 7 weeks, 5 weeks of rehearsal, 4 weeks rehearsal, 1 week of tech, and then 2 weeks of shows. My Elle debut is not meant to be for another 2 weeks. It's not meant to be till Thursday, the something of March, first week of March, basically, whatever Thursday that is, was meant to be my debut in Sheffield, but it has ended up that I've gone on earlier than planned. So let's talk about it. Where to start? Do you know what the funny thing is like people have been commenting on my channels. Okay, basically I've started this new thing where if I see any videos about Legally Blonde on my page, on my feed, I don't read the comments, and it's really good for my mental health. So I'm going to try and keep that up. But on my own channels, people have been asking questions about, like, why do you wear your purple Margot outfit? And why aren't you wearing the same outfit as Amber in this bit? And it's because my costumes aren't ready yet, because I'm not meant to debut for another 2 weeks from when I did go on. So we were meant to we still do have a dress rehearsal on the Friday of Southampton. That was my, like, dress rehearsal, final, like, big rehearsal before my debut. As a cover, it's always weird because you could be celebrating your debut like I am, but it's actually at the detriment of someone else, because obviously Amber has been unwell. So it does feel slightly like weird and awkward to be like talking about it and celebrating it, but I just wanted to like acknowledge that first up, that obviously it's not perfect circumstances, and I can't wait for the full company to be back. We have had quite a lot of sickness in the first couple of weeks. There was like a sickness bug going around. So on our second preview, we were 3 cast members down. So we had like swings making their debuts before rehearsing. Like, it has been chaos, but it's reminded me more than ever like why covers and swings are so important and so vital to putting on a show. And you know, people are really quick to celebrate swings and covers when they're saving the show, but I do think it opens a bigger conversation into like how we can support swings and covers throughout rehearsals so that they're more ready for situations like this. I personally felt fine. So let's get into it. So the night before, I found out, which I was really grateful for, that the call was made the night before, so that because the next day was a 2-show day, so our call time was like 12 o'clock-ish. So I had time to prepare, and I had that evening before, which was an absolute blessing, because if not, I wouldn't have found out till 10 a.m. the next day, which would have meant I only had 2 hours to like get all my ducks in a row, eggs in a basket, something. You know what I mean? If you've seen the vlog, you will see the live footage of me and Daisy 12s crashing out. And I think that was probably like the worst I felt about it in that moment. I was scared. And in the footage, I watched some of it back and I'm going like this. But that's the worst it got in terms of being scared and nervous. After that point, I was like, right, let's get my brain in gear. And it was an absolute blessing to be with Daisy in that moment, because Daisy was obviously debuting as Margot whilst I'm debuting as Elle. So we spent the evening going through stuff, talking through stuff, went to bed at like 2 a.m. and got into work at 9:30 the next morning for costume fittings, because, as I said before, a lot of my costumes weren't ready yet, because they were being made to be ready for my dress rehearsal in Southampton, which I haven't done yet. But I've done the show 6 times now, which feels like a really good space for me to be in. I was very, very nervous to play Elle, which we will get into a bit later in the episode. So yeah, found out the night before, which was a real blessing. And the next morning got into work at 9:30 for costume fittings, where I was trying on costumes for the first time. We didn't get a chance to run any of the quick changes. And if you've seen the show, or if you know Legally Blonde, Elle Woods is on stage for, I'd say, like 97% of the show, maybe 98%. Honestly, I think out of the 2-hour show, I'm probably off stage for about 2 minutes as Elle, maybe a little bit longer at the start of Act 2. But truly, she's on stage pretty much the whole time. So the costume changes are obviously busy, and I had never done a single Elle quick change. I was putting on clothes in quick changes. Well, the incredible dressers and wardrobe team were helping me, that I'd never even like worn before. So that was probably, I would actually say the quick changes were the scariest bit of the whole thing, which is a real good feeling. I was more just excited to do it. We had one issue with the bunny costume, because I'd only just tried on a pink corset for the bunny costume, and then the team at the theatre in the workroom were busy like adding the little bunny tail and like making it. They added a zip into the side of because it's a corset, so it goes like, it's like hooks at the front, and then at the back it's like a drawer, you know, when you draw it, pull it really tight. So they pulled it to where it fit, and then they said they were going to add a zip. So they added a zip, but where it had been pulled really tight, the zip then wouldn't do up on its own. And we hadn't practiced it before the quick change, which was nobody's fault. We just simply didn't have time. So we got to the quick change and it wouldn't do up. And they were trying, and everyone was trying, and the stage went silent, as in they were waiting for me to enter. And there was people just like filling time and doing like party acting when I was coming to enter the party, and I was like, I'm just gonna have to go. So my corset was like wide open at the side here, so I had to do the whole scene basically like with my side to the back of the stage, and I was like, have to high five Enid in that scene. Well, I don't have to, but I high five Enid in that scene. I was like this, I was like high five, because this was all open. But to be honest, everything else was pretty fine. It's weird because costume changes and quick changes, like once you get in the rhythm of them, they're fine. I think by the time I'd done like 3 shows as Elle, I did that change and then had like a minute to spare. Not a minute, that's an exaggeration, maybe 20 seconds to spare. And I was like, wow, we've really got some speed going on here. Yeah, it's weird because you get changed / other people change you, and you don't even... This was actually the weirdest thing for me. I didn't even really get a chance to like look at myself in the outfit. I'd never even seen what I looked like in some of these outfits before going on stage in it, with the wig and like in the full costume. Whereas if, you know, when I'm Margot, you spend a lot of time in tech where you're wearing your costumes and you're doing pictures and you're waiting around in your costumes and stuff. So it was really weird being put in a costume and going on stage with no idea what I looked like or what sort of character I was meant to be looking like. I just had to like try my best in the circumstances. Nothing major went wrong in that first show that I can remember, except for that quick change. And the team was so apologetic. I was like, guys, it was not your fault. Like, it was like we were at battle stations on that day, and it was like, bam, 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 let's get this done. And it could have been a lot worse. I didn't flash anyone in the audience, so that's a bonus. And yeah, I wore my purple Margot costume for the Harvard section because my pink one that I will be getting wasn't ready yet, because it hadn't even been finished being made yet, because it wasn't meant to be ready yet. So it was a real blessing. I keep saying blessing, but truly, it was a real blessing that my Margot costume is purple, because Serena and Pilar are green and orange. So luckily I wasn't green or orange, because that really wouldn't have fit. Whereas like purple and pink, there was a little bit of pink on the trim in the costume, so it kind of goes. So in the last solo episode, we were speaking about how much I'd rehearsed for Elle, and we had done a little bit more by the time of my debut. We hadn't rehearsed or even really said out loud a lot of Act 2. But I went in early on the day offs with our associate team and our resident and our dance captain, and we basically top and tailed the show from start to finish with me as Elle. Just basically spoke through, speed run through the whole show on stage. it happened to also be theatre day at the theatre, which is where they invite loads of people in and they get them on stage and show them the auditorium and like stuff like that. So they were like, oh, we can't use the stage. I was like, I'm so sorry, but we have to use the stage. Like, there's no way around it. So we managed to find a compromise, and they brought down the safety curtain down, which meant we could use behind that. But yeah, I'd never done the show with mic. I'd never sang any of the songs with a mic. I'd never done any of the numbers with lighting or sound or other people really around me. We did some logistical like bits with the full company, which was really helpful. But honestly, I can't believe it happened. I was so emotional. I don't know if any of you guys have seen any videos from the bows, but I was so emotional that like I had done that. And if we're deeping it, a couple weeks ago, around the time when I filmed the last solo episode, I did not want to play Elle Woods. I was having a severe case of imposter syndrome, and I genuinely sat there and just thought, I can't do it. Like, there's no way I will be able to get out on that stage and play Elle Woods. And I'm not just saying this, like, I've really genuinely thought that and felt that. And like, I would go home to Daisy and like cry because I'm like, I can't do it. And the fact that I managed, they asked me, Hannah, are you going to be okay to do the show? I could have said no, because technically I haven't had a dress rehearsal yet, and technically I would have had every right to say no, I'm not doing it. But like, the fact, I feel so proud, and I don't want to like big myself up too much, but I think this is a worthy enough thing to celebrate. And the fact that I just said yes and was like, yeah, I can do it, because I can. And like, it's hard, but I can do hard things. And why am I emotional? Lol. Yeah, I'm just so proud that I did it. And when it got to the bows, I was like, I'm literally bowing as my dream role. And if anything, like, the build up to this first show in Sheffield was probably the thing that was throwing me off the most, because I was thinking, well, I'm not going to have time to have had it settled in my body yet. I'm not going to sound good. There's going to be a lot of expectation of me because people have booked to come and see my first show and stuff like that. So it was, in a way, a blessing in disguise that it came out of the blue, and it was just, I was thrown on with, some hours to spare. Then the pressure, I didn't feel the pressure on me. I was like, well, at least I'm doing the show and the show's not being cancelled. And that's really what got me through. What also got me through was the rest of the cast and the company. Are you joking? The way this team rallied around every single person that I looked at on stage was giving me these eyes that was like, you've got this, you've got this. And like, I cannot tell you how much that helped me like get through the show. There's so many pros and cons to being a cover. And one of the pros is definitely that the show's already been set, the tech's already been done. Everything's already settled. So like, I was on stage, and aside from me, Daisy, Ray and Lauren, so because I was on for Elle, that meant Margot was on for Daisy. Daisy was on for Margot, Ray was on for Kate Chutney, and Lauren was on for Ray's track, which is the onstage swing track. We were doing those tracks for the first time, but everyone else in the building had done it for a whole week already. So like, they knew what they were doing so well, which I actually think is really helpful as a cover when everyone else around you is there to help guide you. So there was a couple of moments where like, I wasn't stood in the right spotlight, and George, who plays Emmett, would, help me and be like, oh, we're just going to move over here a little bit. Like, and things like that really helped get me through. So I did the matinee. It was a 2-show day. So I did the matinee, was absolutely on cloud 9, and then did the evening show as well, where they changed the zip for the corset, so it actually did up this time, so that was a lot better. Evening show went really well, and then I continued to do the show for the rest of the week. So I did the show 6 times last week, and I might not ever get the chance to do it for that amount of time, because obviously I'm scheduled once a week on the Thursday matinee. Some weeks it's Wednesday matinee, so I will be doing it once a week, which I'm really excited for now, which I was honestly dreading before. I was like, I don't know why I wanted to do that. Like, I really don't want to do it. Honestly, like, not even a week ago. And now, well, no, it was a week ago. And now I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm going to love that. I'm going to get the best of both worlds. I'm going to do Margot, and then I'm going to do Elle once a week. So I might not ever get the chance to do 6 shows in a row. I think my longest scheduled is 2 on Thursday, 1 on Friday, and 2 on Saturday. So my longest run scheduled is in Bristol the weekend, and that would be 5 shows. So that might be like my longest stint as Elle, and it's honestly been such a dream. And like when I tell you, Elle Woods is one of those roles that has just been a dream role, as in the dream role for my, as long as I can remember. Like since I've started doing musical theatre, Elle Woods is that role. Like she's that girl. And the fact that like I'm going to get to do that every week is crazy to me. And my parents came to watch, my mum and my stepdad came to watch for Saturday evening, and they were just so proud, and it was so nice like seeing them after the show and having a full debrief. My mum was more nervous than me, I think. Mum, if you're watching, please confirm in the comments. But my mum gets so nervous for me. I don't know if you've seen on my TikTok, but there's a video of me like preparing to go on at the start of Oh My God, You Guys, my very first entrance. And I genuinely did not feel intense nerves. If anything, I feel more nervous to like have some, I felt more nervous to interview Carrie Hope Fletcher than I did to do that. Isn't that crazy? Carrie is not scary. She's honestly lovely, but like she's my idol. Do you know what I mean? I was nervous to have her sit there and like me interview her. Like I felt more nervous for that than I did waiting to go on as Elle, because I was like, well, I can only do what I can do. And I have to trust myself. And I really did trust myself. And it was so much fun. Honestly, I had too much fun. So highlights of playing Elle so far, like parts of the show that I didn't realise I would find so fun. I would actually probably say Take It Like a Man, which if you've seen my video where I'm like ranking all the songs, I think it's at the very bottom or like the second from bottom. That is one of my favourite songs to do. I don't know why. I think it's just, it feels really like truthful and intimate, and it's just really nice to sing. It's just a lovely song to sing, and it's a really lovely part of the story that helps like solidify like Elle and Emmett's relationship. Other parts of the show, I mean, again, Chip on Your Shoulder. Guys, these were the two songs at the bottom of my list, but what I love about Chip on Your Shoulder is there's so many different segments to it. There's a quick change mid-song, which is always riveting. And from the week before's vlog, we pre-recorded the offstage lines, so they were all ready to go, so it was all fine. Playing Elle as opposed to Margot it's obviously harder vocally because Elle sings a lot throughout the whole show. And Margot does too, but not like on her own. It was harder vocally, but I feel like maybe easier physically, because maybe as Margot I would do more full out dancing, whereas Elle, because she's in the centre, she can kind of get away with not being as full out with a lot of the dance numbers and stuff. Don't have to do Whipped Into Shape as Elle, which is a bonus. No, I lie. Whipped Into Shape has actually become one of my favourite ones to do now because it's just exhilarating. But there's definitely a couple of moments. Do you know which moment gets me, right? And it got me on the first show, and I did almost shed a tear, and it like made me go for a sec. There's at the end of what's it called? Find My Way. She's at the final song when they're all at the graduation, and she comes in her graduation gown and hat with Bruiser, and she stands there and she says, everyone kind of slows down and stops, and she says, oh my God, I'm going to cry. She says, I thank you one and all, the ones who thought I'd fall, who taught me how to fail, who helped me to prevail. And when you really deep those lines, and how I feel a lot of the time, as much as there are so many positive things that come from being on social media and having that online presence, there is also a lot of negative things that come with that, and a lot of people who just dislike me for whatever reason, or want to see me fail, want to see me trip up, or want a video of me doing badly. So to stand there and just say like, thank you, you know, and I'm not trying to say like I relate to Elle Woods 1,000,000%, but like that is such a relatable bit for me. Like, I thank you one and all, and you really do say it to the audience, and like the ones who thought I'd fall, like, I don't know, it's just really emotional. And like when Vivian comes in and goes, you can show them all what you've done, I don't know what her lines are, but it's like, you show them all, and like me and Annabelle looking at each other, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to show them, and then just like belting out this bit of music that yeah, that American flag, like belting that out and feeling so confident and comfortable, like it's just so empowering. So I think that's been like the biggest highlight for me so far, and it's standing there when I play Elle and it's like thanking people for like, even, you know, kind of thanking people for underestimating me. And in a way, Elle Woods is the same, you know, like she's been put in a box her whole life, and people thinks she's a certain way and thinks she's only capable of a certain thing, and then coming out and proving to everyone like why she is where she is. Oh my God. Because I relate to that, you know? People think I'm just like on stage because of TikTok, and they don't think I'm capable of actually doing a good job. And I stand there and I say it and I'm like, yeah, I just did that whole 2-hour show and I'm so proud. And I saw a really, sorry to get emotional, but I'm just an emotional girl. I saw a really good video actually, and I saw it just literally the day before I did my debut, and it was a video of Cynthia Erivo. Someone asked her in an interview. There's been some comments online about her playing Dracula and like using a teleprompter or something like that. I don't really see much of it, but someone said, what do you say to people who have commented on you having to use a teleprompter, or like your way of learning the lines or their reception to the play? And she was like, I don't care. I don't read it. Like, no one else has lived that experience. No one else has to go on stage and do 20,000 words and do what I've done. Like, I'm the only person that's lived this experience. So actually, I don't care what people have to say. And I really felt like I took that to heart and thought, actually, yeah. Like, if people come out and say, I don't like the way Hannah sang this little bit, or I don't like the way she looked in the bows or something like that, like, I feel so happy with myself and what I've achieved and how I've approached this whole process, that I actually don't care if people have anything bad to say, because like I'm the only person who really knows like what that was like. And it's again really like empowering. So thank you, Cynthia Erivo, for that, because that really helped me. Like, yeah, I don't care what people have to say because I'm the one who's out on stage doing it. And you can make comments all you want. Have you seen the show? No. Have you seen me do it? No. Have you heard a bootleg on TikTok? Yeah, maybe. But I'm not reading the comments. In a way, I obviously appreciate people when they're being lovely and supportive, but like I have to kind of shut that down because I feel so passionately about this role and this show that like I almost don't want to know what people have got to say about it. It's like when I don't think I really even spoke about it even on the vlogs, but there was some videos of our bows from a dress rehearsal, right? It was an open dress rehearsal. God knows why they were allowed to film the bows, but they were, and that's fine. They filmed the bows and we were obviously all going, what is it? I've forgotten it. Like we learnt it like the day before. There was loads of comments online being like, this looks awful, this looks rubbish, rah, rah, rah. And I'm sitting there thinking, but it's not. Like, you've seen a 20-second clip of the bows from a dress rehearsal. Like, come and watch the actual show. And I don't even know if we've had any reviews yet, but I love this show. It's literally, I'm Legally Blonde fan till I die, and I'm so proud of this show that we've all created. So, in a way, I don't really care. It's bad, isn't it? But like, I actually don't really care like what people are saying, because I'm like, well, I'm having a great time and I love the show and I think it's funny and I think it tells an incredible message, and I think the whole entire cast and company is incredibly talented. So even if it does get bad reviews, which I'm sure it won't, people are still having a great time coming to watch it. So like, imagine coming to watch Legally Blonde and then leaving like sad. I fear that's not possible. Me sad because I'm like so emotional from the bows. We obviously haven't had even a full debrief of what this episode was going to be at Legally Blonde opening, how it's been like playing Margot, but obviously now Elle's happened, so I feel like I've completely skipped past Margot, but I'm having an absolutely fantastic time playing Margot. The way me, Remy and Rosanna, who play Margot, Pilar, Serena, are walking around that we're walking around that theatre together at all times as a trio. It's so nice going on stage as a trio at all times, and we're all sharing a dressing room, and we are just having a lovely, lovely time. The Margot track is really busy for like the first 20 minutes of the show. It's like being hit by a bus. It's like so much happening, and then we get to chill, and I actually think we get about 15 minutes off stage, which when you've come from doing Six the Musical where like you get 10 seconds off stage, that's really pleasant. So we've got 15 minutes off stage. We're filming TikToks. We're getting the vlog camera out. We're eating sweets. We're eating Percy Pigs. I'm sorry, Percy Pigs needs to sponsor Legally on the Musical, or Candy Kittens. Candy Kittens, hit us up. But truly, the amount of sweets that we consume back there is crazy. There's still like little bits about the show that are chopping and changing. Just like, actually no, there's not. But it was all like quite a mad rush when we first opened. So like there was stuff we were wearing in some of the previews that then would change by the time we get to press night. Press night was fantastic. It was an incredible evening. Imagine like a theatre full of like industry people that you know, theatre fans, people that are just generally stagey, people that are supporters of the theatre and the local community. It was just the best vibes ever in that theatre. Like the entrance applause that Amber got was incredible. Like everyone, there was also a load of cast there who did the most recent production in Regent's Park. So they obviously know the show really well, and they were there like absolutely hyping us up. And it was really refreshing for us to actually have industry people come and watch the show and tell us, I mean, I hope they weren't lying, but come and tell us like how good they thought it was. And it was really refreshing because obviously we'd just seen on TikTok for the past 2 weeks that like everyone was like, oh, it looks rubbish. And we're like, no, it is good. We promise. Like it's actually good. So it was really nice to have industry people be like, wow, loved it. So if this isn't your sign to book tickets, then I don't know what is. Check the website to find out when I'm on for Elle officially, and get your tickets because it's such a fun evening. I've had a lovely time at Stage Door. I've done Stage Door for most of the shows, but again, still never guaranteed. It just depends on the vibe and how I feel and how I'm doing. But I've been fine so far. So I've been doing Stage Door and I've signed so many books. Guys, when I tell you, my heart just goes boom, boom, boom when I see these books at Stage Door. I'm like, yes, please let me sign it. So if you do have a lay quiz book, then just bring it along. And if I do see you, then I will absolutely sign the book. The Waterstones in Leicester must have been like, wow, we're selling out. Honestly, like people were like, we tried to go in and the lady said they were flying off the shelves. I was like, yes, that's what we like to hear. But you can get it on for Amazon if you don't already have one. And I would love to sign the book. Obviously, Stage Door is never an official meet and greet situation. But if you are after an official meet and greet, then I can tell you that I am going to do a live show in the West End, How Very Hannah live at the Garrick on the 24th of May. Correct? Yes, Sunday the 24th of May. It is my day off. I will still be doing all the other shows around that, so do not stress. Someone's like, will you still be in Canterbury or whatever it is? I was like, yes, I will. The night before I'll have done 2 shows, but I will be there, so don't you worry. Unless I'm sick, in which case I won't be doing either. But I won't be. It's going to be so fine, touch wood. So if you do want a meet and greet, we do have meet and greet tickets available for that, where I will sign whatever you want me to, and that's obviously like a guarantee. Stage Door is not always guaranteed. There are regular tickets available too. So if you want to come for an evening of fun and good vibes and good energy and singing and dancing and podcasting and chatting and games, then come and see How Very Hannah live at the Garrick. We will leave a link to tickets in the description. And I think that's kind of everything I wanted to say. I just want to say thank you, honestly. And I'm so grateful. Like, I turned up to the studio this morning in the best mood. And they were like, whoa, well, what's going on? And I was like, well, do you know what? I've had 7 weeks. I'm back in London after I haven't been in London since before Christmas. And it feels like nice to be back to it. Like, I've just played my dream role for nearly a week. Like, I'm honestly on cloud 9 right now. And I know touring and doing shows is not going to be easy and fun all the time. I mean, it's never easy, but it's not going to be fun all the time. There'll be days where you're like, I can't get through this today. But I'm just embracing how I feel about it right now. And I just feel so lucky and grateful that I get to do Legally Blonde. I get to do it, you know? It's crazy. I think sometimes my mindset, especially towards the end of 6, I was like, oh, I've got to do a show today. Or I've got to do 2 shows today. But when you flip it on its head, it's like, I get to do a show today. I get to do, like, me 20 years ago, how old am I? Yeah, 20 years ago. Maybe 15 years ago, could have only dreamt of getting to do a show and be paid for it as a job. So to be getting to do it for a year is just, yeah, it's very heartwarming. Anyway, I'm going to wrap up this episode here. I've just been rambling for a hot minute, but as always, leave any questions, any questions, queries and concerns in the comments below. And if you have any confessions or hotlines, you can send them to hello@howveryhannah.com. And make sure to like and subscribe and follow us wherever you get your podcasts, and book your tickets to Legally Blonde and my live show. See, there's not much you have to do. It's just that, okay? Easy. No, I'm joking. And follow @howvery_Hannah on socials. Thanks, Sophia. Thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for all of your support. I love you all. Bye.